Good day, viewers. Few days ago, Bola Tinubu and APC sent their final address to the tribunal against the political parties that are seeking for the disqualification of Bola Tinubu. And it stirs mixed reactions because people were laughing at their responses because they know it is not going to hold water. But it is more laughable when we saw the response of INEC in their final address to the tribunal. But however, we are going to focus on the issue that INEC said that we are not aware of Tinubu's drug-related forfeiture of 460,000 before 2023 election. If you didn't hear that, let me repeat it again. INEC wrote to the tribunal that they are not aware of Tinubu's drug-related forfeiture of 460,000 before 2023 election. Now, before I will explain further, let me read out these articles from the native reporters. And it reads, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has told the Presidential Election Petitions Court sitting in Abuja that it was unaware of the over 20-year-old United States District Court judgment, which ordered President Bola Tinubu to forfeit 460,000 suspected to be proceeds of narcotic trade. According to INEC, the case was not brought to its attention prior to the 2023 presidential election. This was contained in its final written address filed by its lead counsel, A.B. Mahmood, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, against the petition filed by the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi. And one of the grounds of Obi's petition, which seeks the removal of President Tinubu, his legal team led by Dr. Nivi Uzochukwu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, stated that Tinubu was at the time of the election not qualified to contest for election to the office of the president, as he was fined the sum of 460,000 United States dollars for an offense involving dishonesty, namely narcotic trafficking, imposed by the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois, Eastern Division, in case number 93C4483, titled United States of America v. Plaintiff Fund in account 26322C700, head by First Heritage Bank in the name of Bola Tinubu. They had urged the Presidential Election Petition Court to disqualify Tinubu on that ground, among other prayers. But in the final written address obtained by us, INEC-led counsel Mahmood maintained that the said forfeiture order was not brought to the attention of the Commission, especially by the petitioners prior to the election. On the alleged imposition of fine on the second respondent Tinubu by the United States District Court in case number 93C44483, the case of the first respondent INEC is simply that the same was not brought to his attention, he stated. However, he told the Presidential Election Petition Court that the 1999 Constitution provides that the fine that disqualifies one from running for president must be associated with a court sentence. However, Section 137(1)(d) of the Constitution, which provides for the sentence of fine as disqualifying factor in respect of a presidential candidate, states as follows. A person shall not be qualified for election for the office of the president if he is under a sentence of death imposed by any competent court of law or tribunal in Nigeria, or stands of imprisonment or fine for any offense involving dishonesty or fraud by whatever named court, or for any other offense imposed on him by any court or tribunal, or substituted by a competent authority of any other sentence imposed on him by such court or tribunal, he added. Mahmood argued that in the 1999 Constitution, the prescription of fine as disqualifying factor for a presidential candidate is hinged on a sentence. He contended that in line with the testimonies of a number of witnesses at the proceedings, the U.S. case was a civil forfeiture proceeding and there was no charge or conviction. In this way, the petitioners failed to prove the alleged, and we urge the court to so hold. We urge the court to resolve this issue in favor of the first respondent and hold that the second respondent Tinubu and third respondent Kashim Shettima were qualified, he stated. He then urged the Presidential Election Petition Court to also agree with the submission of the lawyers representing Tinubu, Kashim Shettima, and All Progressive Congress regarding the matter. They maintained that the U.S. judgment was not a criminal conviction. On this issue, the order of forfeiture by the United States District Court They, Tinubu APC, contend that there was no criminal charge, sentence, or conviction to support the allegation of criminal conviction of official. They further contended that the alleged order of official, being that of a foreign court, is not registered in Nigeria to be enforceable and is in fact now over 20 years since the alleged order was made. So this is the final address of the INEC to the Court of Appeal in Abuja, handling the petition seeking to disqualify Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But this is so interesting. So INEC saying that they are not aware of the Tinubu forfeiture of drugs, and they later stated that they don't think that a civil forfeiture could lead to disqualifying a candidate. Is so laughable. This is so laughable. Even though it's a civil forfeiture, what led to the civil forfeiture? You could read section 137D that says any act, even involving dishonesty. So the law is clear. If truly the tribunal want to maintain their integrity, this is enough to disqualify Bola Ahmed Tinubu because he was involved in narcotic trafficking. He was involved in drugs business. So the money of the drug was traced to his account. So how are you going to be a victim, or what else are they going to hold you for? If the money was traced to your account, so instead of maybe arresting you, you forfeited the whole money. It's also the same thing as you were arrested without a fine or without money paid. You know, also in Nigeria, there are some cases, there are some courts that will fine you instead of arresting you. So this is the same all over the world. So when you forfeited something, that thing you forfeited is like you going to jail as well. So you have paid for it. You paid for it. You were guilty. If you are not guilty, I don't think any court will ask you to fulfill any of your belongings. So this is a very important fact that people need to understand about this that is going on. So let us look forward to what is going to unfold.
Its vice presidential candidate withdrew 21 days before a replacement was made, instead of waiting 14 days. You see, this is our law, and no court can amend it because of one person. This is a clear case of power coming from God. While they attempted to evade double nomination, they fell into invalid nomination. Isn't God's way above the ways of man? A perusal of INEC's final address revealed the disgraceful partisan posture of an institution that ought to be neutral. INEC shamelessly claimed that APM did not plead that APC replaced its vice presidential candidate outside 14 days allowed by the law. But luckily, the petition was handy for APM to point INEC's blind eyes to the portion of the petition where the facts were copiously pleaded. Now, what remains? Now, the law, the facts, and the case are all against the candidacy of Tinubu, and no one can say otherwise. I only wait to see how the laws will deal with this. It will be interesting to see a contrary position from what the law clearly is. But what do I know? This is concisely put together. Like I said, I must give credit to whom credit is due, by one Silas Joseph Onu Esquire, Abuja, Nigeria. I don't know this person, but I've seen this his analysis in social media circles on Twitter, and I didn't just bring it out to your attention. I went and followed all the sequences and checked the two sections of the law mentioned, the Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022, and he was right on what he said. The dates corresponded. The limit is 14 days. You must have somebody. But Shetima came on after 21 days. Do you see that the job has been done by APM? You see, Tinubu is in so much trouble. There are so many things against this presidency. And I will leave you to be the judge on this one. I will not add any more. Thank you so much for listening and watching this video. We really do appreciate you. Please like this video, share it, let it go viral so that people will see that the case is as good as done, that Tinubu is a gunner. Subscribe to our channel because we bring you a lot of things you will not see in other ones. Thank you for watching and stay blessed.